He's like, make that make sense. And that's facts. I brought that up before. I'm like, yo, you're stepping over Americans to help these people that aren't part of our country.
I almost take like sort of like issue with that. But him saying that, I'm like, man, you know what? Honestly, we have homeless shelters. We have a lot of resources for homeless people here in this country. And if you have people who come over here and they're asylum seekers or whatever the case may be, and like I say, I always say this, we don't take into account, man, that a lot of people who come here are like are place fillers, man. For
Yeah.
Americans, we don't even realize what that means. We got
No,
to
he
start
said
doing
that.
more
He said
research.
exactly what he said. Tariq Nasheed's been saying the same thing. He's like, look, they're bringing these immigrants in here to replace and take jobs from blacks and
No, no,
Mexicans
no,
and
no, no.
black
I'm not.
folks.
No, I don't. I'm not saying that at all. I don't believe that they're bringing them in here to take job. I believe they're bringing them in here because our job market is still continuously going to grow for a while. It's going to grow. We're not making enough people to fill in those
Yeah.
gaps, man. We're just not. People don't understand. We would have a dwindling population if it were not for immigrants. It's just the truth. Go look at the facts, man.
Yeah.
Everybody will tell you we have 1.66 people. We create 1.66 babies for every couple. So for every two people, they only create 1.66. Do the math on that. So you're only basically creating 1.5 people for every two people. What does that do over a course of time?
Yeah.
A dwindling population. That's why you see countries like China who are in trouble because of their population. That's why they want to go to war right now. There's a we just don't understand like
there's a lot of stuff. I mean, Trump he made NATO pay, but then Biden called him out, but he didn't say it loud enough. He's like, look, Iran attacked us while you were president, and you didn't do nothing.
Didn't do
Remember
anything
that.
about it. Didn't do nothing.
The Russian, and I add to that, the Russian bounties on our
Yeah.
heads. He did nothing about that either.
I mean, at the same time, what does he think? Why does he think that they attacked Israel and they created the problems they created? When you kill Soleimani, when you pull out of the Iran deal, he should have talked about all this stuff, but he doesn't want to talk about it because he'll be like, oh, you care about terrorists, which people don't really understand. Soleimani is pretty much Robert Gates, or like say a American version of our defense secretary. That's who Soleimani was to Iran. You killed another foreign government because you don't have respect for governments of color. You would never done that to a European government or any government who is not of color. That's what the problem is. That's the biggest issue here for all of America. That's what we don't do. We don't really realize. Most times I feel like we just don't have respect for governments, people of color. Go around the world, look in Africa, look in Asia, look
South
in the Middle
America.
East, but period. For any governments of color, we're going to treat them however we want to, but then you want to show respect. Like Trump's already said before, from shithole countries, give me guys from Norway.
Look, I don't like Donald Trump really, but I'm gonna give him his pointers. Look, he did make NATO pay more, which makes sense. He was like, "Yo, pay your fair share. Y'all sitting there, you ain't doing nothing." But he also wouldn't answer the questions. You know, when they went to January 6th, he was getting around it, and Biden could have ate his ass up on that.
He left too much food on the plate, man. And like I said,
he left the buffet out.
Yeah,
he left the buffet out, and everybody went to McDonald's instead.
Trump barely left anything on the plate. He was nibbling at the bone. He got in his ass on that. I'm gonna keep it real. He did. You know what I'm saying?